everybody, welcome back. Like I said, today we are going to talk about picking colors for your fluid nail art adventure. There's a couple different ways you can go about it. Sometimes you have a palette to go by, you can Google those. If you have a basic color that you want, you can just Google like purple color palette and it'll come up with all kinds of different pictures and palettes that you can use. If you don't have time for that, or if you kind of want to venture into some of your own color mixes, a good way to go about that is to have a color wheel, just a basic idea of color theory, I guess is what you would call it. I do have a color wheel in my spare time. I like to color, which I know is not, it's kind of weird. But anyway, it's actually very helpful. This one's off of Amazon and really cheap. But it does turn and help you kind of look at mixing colors. And then, you know, of course, your primary, tertiary, secondary, all that. And then also complementary colors, things that just look good together. So when you're picking colors to do a fluid art, you'll want ones that, you know, kind of blend together well, look good together. So your final fluid art looks pretty and cohesive and not muddled. One thing that I have kind of learned is that adding red or yellow to certain colors will just give you an icky color. So just be aware of some of the colors that just don't go well. Like if you mix red and green and mix it too much, you get kind of a poopy color. So just be aware of that. And that's where the color wheel does come in handy, because you can kind of see just adding certain colors to others what you'll end up with. See, violet and yellow makes baby poop. So just be aware of that. I taught my grandson that too when he was mixing some slime. You mix them all together and you're going to end up with a poop color. And there you go. So of course, complementary colors are the ones that are directly across from each other. And then you have kind of the same shades you can blend together, or you can just take one, this is the back side of the wheel, which is also handy, one color, and you either you know, add white, or you can add black to it to make it darker, white to make it lighter. You could just do a fluid art with, you know, different shades of blue, starting light to dark, or purple, and those all come in, you know, pretty handy with the color wheel. And that's just an idea. Some people don't want to get that crazy into it, but I like my color wheel, and it helps with coloring too. So there's that color wheel. So some of the things that I've kind of done with fluid art in the past usually will involve just taking one color, like purple, and you just have, you know, your light, medium, and dark shade, and that usually works pretty well, especially if you're just doing like a white fluid art polish. Then it looks really pretty, or something, you know, shimmery, holographic, and that'll give you a really pretty, just, you know, purple fluid art. And then if you want to take kind of the three colors on the color wheel that are right next to each other, so you have red, orange, orange, those are pretty too, and that's something that you could do, just the colors that are three right next to each other on that wheel. And then kind of the complementary across the wheel kind of idea would be like a violet, green, yellow. I've done one I think, like this. And those are really pretty too. I like those colors together. But you can get even more in depth with changing those up with, you know, your white tones or bluish tones. You know, like purple and aqua look really good together. Hot pink and aqua, all those look really good together. But like I said, you know, if you don't want to get that involved with it, always, you know, Google a palette. It's really easy. They've got tons. People just post palette pictures. So I think there's apps too where you can just take a picture and then click on certain parts of it, and it'll pick out the colors and make a palette for you. That's not something I've ever tried, but I have looked up, like this had like a hot pink polish that I wanted to get an idea of what to do, something different than just doing shades of pink. So put in the Google search bar pink color palettes, and it brings out tons of things that you can do. So that's something else you could try too. But I think the color wheel is really helpful. And then just remember when you're mixing the polishes with your, you know, your fluid art process, and I'm gonna post a video on just starting out of how to even get started with a fluid art creation, I guess you would call it. But just remember when you're, you know, smearing or, you know, bending your mat, not to mix the polishes together too much, because then you get that muddied brown, icky kind of color. You want to make sure that your colors stay distinct and that you don't have too much mixing. So we'll go into that more in another video, but I just kind of wanted to talk about how I pick colors and then some suggestions for how you could as well. So those are some of the things that I do, and the color wheel is helpful. If you have any questions or comments, things you would like to see on my channel, please leave a comment, and I am open to any ideas. Thanks.